attitude of seeing the big picture, right? That you know all these challenges, when you face it, it will pass, and there's something to aim for. That's really a big lesson that you know someone can learn when they're young. Besides that, right, I just want to. I'm quite curious when you go through training like that, right? Spend a couple of years in a boarding school, which is so strict with so many rules. Do you bring all those discipline now into your life? How does it look like? You know, are you such a disciplined person because of that experience?
That's a very interesting question, and I really like that question because I think different people react differently to that. I know that there are some people who become extremely rule-abiding and extremely disciplined, but I have to be quite honest, it's had an opposite impact on me. I realize rules are able to be broken, right? I think that's what I realized, that even in the most so-called stressful and tough of situations, one is you can bend the rules a little bit, right? There are things that you can sort of play around with, right? That's one. Number two is that I also realized that some rules are just rules in your mind, right? They're not, they are not real, right? In a way that essentially the punishments for it is bigger in your imagination than in reality, right? I think so. I think that's also been one of the things that has helped me sometimes in terms of pursuing my activism, where sometimes we have so much fears, right? We can't speak up against the government. We can't go down and protest. We can't go and we can't go and argue about certain things, right? And in the end, you'll realize that the consequences are mostly imaginary, right? And we create this self-limitation because we are so afraid. But in reality, the consequences are actually very small. And most people can actually handle the consequences, right? So I think that's something that I've learned, that even in that pressure cooker environment, you can break certain rules and accept the consequences, right? So that's something that, I think more people should also think about, right? Like which rules are real and which rules have huge consequences, right? Like, for example, don't be corrupt, don't do a crime, right? I think these are things that we can all agree on, but speaking up, voicing out your opinion, going out to a protest, right? Pushing back against government policies, right? Most of these things are self-limiting beliefs, right? And maybe not just rules, but also what we define as our own life, and we define as our own rules, right? I can't achieve this. I can't push for that promotion, right? These are all self-limiting beliefs that it's all in our imagination. So how do we break through it? So I think, ironically, I've learned the opposite. And been less of a rule following person.
Well, which is a great point of view as well.
Yeah.
And then of course, if you want to be an activist, right, on any issues, that seems to be the prerequisite, that you need to be able to look at the current rules, laws, and say that, okay, it can be changed. It needs to be broken down sometimes and introduce something new and something better, right?
Correct, exactly.
Okay, so this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Giving Hub.